Today I'm going to break down exactly how and when to use overlays in your videos just like this. And I'll also be providing some free assets for you to use. Hey everybody, my name is G Clark. I'm a content creator over on Instagram. I also run a content marketing company called Happy Ghost Productions. I've been creating content for over 8 years now. I've grown multiple clients, hundreds of thousands of followers, and have generated over 25 million views just last year alone. But most importantly, I know how to edit and I'm here to help you. So without further ado, let's dive in. Now quickly, before we start, head to the description of this video and download my free editing bundle. It has everything you need to become a better editor, and it also has the overlays we're gonna be using in today's video. Now let's jump into Premiere Pro. And the first thing we're gonna do is start a new project. We're gonna call this Overlay Example. All right, now I use this layout when I'm editing in vertical just because I find it better. So if you go up here to a window and you go to workspaces, you can choose a bunch of different layouts for Premiere Pro. I have created my own called social editing that I use on a daily basis. So the first thing we're gonna do is import our footage that we wanna use for this video. I have a bunch of clips that I can just grab from myself here. We're just gonna select a bunch of random ones and press OK. We're gonna drag one onto our timeline. There we go. Now we have a timeline which has some footage that we can use, but now we need our overlays. So the first thing we're gonna do is open up my free editing bundle. We're gonna go to free overlays here. And inside here, we have a bunch of different overlays. The first ones that we're gonna use is under the editing essentials. We're gonna go to textures. All right, and the two that we are gonna grab is the header tail and the flash burn right here. And we're gonna drag these guys right onto our project bin, and then we're gonna drag these bad boys right onto the timeline. So first and foremost, the first thing you're gonna notice is they do not fit the screen at all. And that's because they're made for horizontal video and we're working on vertical video. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna change the rotation to 90 degrees and we're gonna scale it back by 50%. And the reason we scaled them down is because they were created for 4K footage. We are working in a 1080 timeline. The next thing we're gonna do is do the same thing to this guy over here, which is 90 degrees, and scale it down to 50. Now it should fit perfectly. Now, if we're going to use these overlays, we don't need the audio for any of these. We can go ahead and delete that. We're gonna drag this right on top of our footage. And what happens is you don't get to see the footage below because it's completely taking over because it's overlaid on top of the footage. So in order to have the overlay work effectively, we want to go ahead and select the overlay layer, come down here to blend mode and select screen. And what's gonna happen now is you should see that it's overlaying on top of the footage, but you can still see the footage behind it. Now, in my personal opinion, this is still way too strong of an effect. So we're gonna change the opacity to 50, maybe even 25. We want this to be a subtle effect, right? So even that you can see is still very, very aggressive. So I'm gonna try and go down to 10% and we're gonna play it back here. Now that just looks like a little bit of extra sauce that's hidden within there. So if we're watching this clip and this pops up, just like a little bit of extra sauce and motion going on there, right? And I like that. So 10% was the sweet spot for this guy. Now, if we're using a film burn, for example, which is something that aggressively is used more so for a transition than anything else. So let's grab another clip here, put it at the end. We'll remove the audio because we don't need that. So it's going to go from this clip to maybe me raising my arm. So we're gonna go ahead and chop that right there. And then it's gonna go right up to me raising my arms. Now, this transition doesn't overly make a lot of sense because it's just one shot to another. So we're gonna help spice it up a little bit and add this little film burn transition over top. Now it's a little too long, so we're gonna shorten it. We're gonna add it right over top so the footage is gonna look like this and then go right into the next clip. But just like the overlay, it's still way too strong and we can't see the footage below it. So we're gonna click on the clip, head back down to blend mode, change this to screen, and then change the opacity to probably 50%, and we're gonna try that again. And now you have a little bit of a subtle effect as that transition happens. And that is how to effectively use a film burn and overlay. Now you use these types of overlays normally to help spice up your footage, add a little bit of razzle dazzle, if you will. But this over here is used as a transition. Now you can use it as just a way to add some razzle dazzle to your video, and it'll look perfectly fine. But the most important way to use that is normally for transitions. Now, if we want to make this even better, what you're going to do is you're going to grab a sound effect. So let's head back to the free bundle, and there should be a sound effect page. Now in the extra sound effect folder, we do have one called Fireball Whoosh. If we drag this in, hopefully it sounds a lot closer to what would actually work in this scenario. So let's do our classic fade in here and give it a try. Now, if you have music in here as well, let's turn down the volume a little bit on that effect, make it a little bit more subtle. There we go. Now let's try and drag in a song and see if we can help mask the whole thing together. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have the beat of the song drop right on the transition here. Always to make sure you turn the volume down on the music because it is normally pretty loud. All right, let's find the chorus of this song, which I think is right here. There we go, and that's when we want the beat to hit right on the transition itself. And now we should have something like this. Let's turn that fireball up a little bit more. Perfect. And let's add a little bit more spice by doing a little bit of a zoom once this clip jumps in. So we're gonna head down to the effects control. We're gonna create a toggle animation for both position and scale. Head to the very end of the clip and scale this up to 130%. There we go. And now what we should get is a little, perfect. And I am perfectly happy with that. And if we want to, we can add a little bit of that overlay right on top of the end of this footage. Just for a little bit of spice. All right, now, if you want to take this one step further, you can add a riser to this video. So what the riser is going to do is it's going to build anticipation for when this fireball happens and the transition happens. If we go back and we go to sound effects, we go to G's favorite sound effects, we have a riser that is right here. We're going to drag that bad boy in here. We're going to place it right underneath. And as you can see, it gets louder, it's louder, and then it falls off. So we want to find that place where it falls off right there, cut it, and we're going to move that right to the same place that transition happens, and we're going to pull it back out. Now we're going to turn that down a lot because we want that more in the background. We want to feel it more than we want to hear it. It should look something like this. Let's move this over here so we have the artifacts. Perfect. And that is how you effectively use overlays and effects in your videos. Let me know below exactly what you would like to learn next. I hope you found this video valuable, and don't forget to grab my free editing bundle in the description below. I also post daily tutorials over on my Instagram, so if you want to learn more, make sure to go follow me there. I'll be posting new content every week right here on YouTube in hopes of not only helping you become a better video editor, but hopefully to become a better content creator overall. So don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!